Hi, everybody. We've got an interesting plot twist developing in our computer models here that show a better chance for snow in coastal Georgia, South Carolina, and North Carolina than the typical areas that you'd see inland, and it's even possible Florida sees some snow. Hi, everybody. I'm Chief Meteorologist Chris Justice, tracking this low-pressure system that's going to spill into some colder air. Look at this thing coming in next week with the cold air that we have in place, and look at that. Snow, ice, sleet possible in Florida, South Georgia, coastal South Carolina, coastal North Carolina with a developing low pressure system, and it's possible some of those areas get more snow than the mountains. It's going to be cold for everybody. Let's get right to the details. Hi, everybody. I'm Chief Meteorologist Chris Justice giving you those early warnings. Please like this video, subscribe to the channel if you don't already, and turn on those notifications. I will be keeping you up to date on all things weather as this system unfolds here. So please do me a favor. Let me know where you're watching from. I do look at the comments, and it does help me out whenever I'm forecasting here to see where in the world you're watching from right now. It helps me out, tailor it to your county, your town, and kind of look at this because this is a rare event. And for those of you looking to see some snow in the Western Carolinas, certainly still a possibility. It just looks like there's a better chance and a better chance of higher totals actually along the I-95 corridor, Charleston, Myrtle Beach, up through the Outer Banks, Raleigh, eastbound, has a better chance at seeing snow than the Western Carolinas in this circumstance. Let me map out the brand new GFS America model that just came in. We've got some rain coming our way as we go into Saturday morning. Looks to be light, mixed with some light snow across the Western North Carolina mountains. No big deal there. In fact, by mid-morning, most of the rain's pushing south into areas like Macon, through Savannah, Charleston, Myrtle Beach. And then we're seeing a few remaining showers early on Sunday, that as the cold Arctic air spills in. We've got playoff football games on Sunday. We've got the inauguration on MLK Monday. We've got a lot riding on this forecast. Looks like a little mini nor'easter comes in just before the inauguration, right? Could coat some areas with some snow. Regardless, it is going to be cold. And honestly, regardless of if you see a snowflake at the beach, wherever you're watching from right now in the Western Carolinas, Georgia, Alabama, Florida, whether you see a snowflake, it is going to be dangerously cold everywhere. I mean, this freezing line gets so far south that parts of Florida are going to be colder than you would typically be on any given year. So let's map this out as we go into next week. We know it's just crazy cold. That 540 line dipping down to the Gulf of Mexico, that's a clear indication of just Arctic air. That's also a clear indication of kind of where our storm track lies. So we know there's going to be a storm. We know the track is somewhere in here. As we've been saying all week long, if that track takes a look right in here, that's going to give more interior areas snow. If the track is more suppressed, that's going to push that colder air farther south and allow for drier air inland, but enough moisture along the coast for some snow. And that's exactly what the models have kind of pinpointed here is Texas, Louisiana, southern Mississippi, not northern Mississippi, southern Alabama, not northern Alabama, and get this, South Georgia, northern panhandle of Florida could see some sleet, freezing rain, and snow Tuesday night. But yes, in the upstate, South Carolina, Greenville, Spartanburg, Anderson, we could see some flakes flying around Tuesday evening into the overnight hours. But right now, it doesn't look to amount to much more than a quick coating on the grass. Maybe some slick spots in some areas, but overall, this GFS America model showing a mess in South Georgia from Savannah to Charleston to Hilton Head. This could be a wintry mix, unlike we've seen in many, many years. And Florida seeing snow back-to-back years in the Panhandle. West of Panama City, there could be the ground covered in some areas. Okay, so this low develops here off of the GFS, and it scoots on to the south. Let me compare this to last night's run. Let me do this. Let's just flip it. You can't see the side screen there. I'm going to turn on last night's run. This would be farther out to sea. So there's last night's run right along the I-95 corridor. There's still a chance this shifts. Here was the overnight run. Brought it inland a little bit. And then here is today's run. So it shifted a little bit farther inland each run on this American model here to where there could be some snow flying around in some areas farther west, but it looks like by far the totals on the GFS model, let me show you that, are right along the I-95 corridor. So a dusting to an inch possible in the upstate of South Carolina on this American model, but you get down here south of the upstate, which is typically the opposite, right? Columbia into Orangeburg, The immediate coast has trouble getting accumulation just because of the water being there, and it kind of interacts with some warmer air. But so I-95 corridor looks to be several inches of snow according to this model, and there could be a real area here that just gets inundated as that low kind of deepens here off the coast. Wilmington up through eastern North Carolina, Greenville, North Carolina, up through the Outer Banks, could have several inches of snow. I mean, there's going to be some just insanely beautiful pictures in this upcoming week. But look at this far south, southern Louisiana, southern Alabama and Mississippi. Panhandle of Florida could have a dusting to an inch of something, not just snow. Could be some sleet and freezing rain. All right, so things really changed for us. I'm going to show you the European and the Canadian model here in a second. They are processing as we speak. But Sunday's the day it all changes for us. We get crazy cold as the day goes on. As we get to Sunday evening, temperatures are already in the teens in the mountains, 20s in the upstate, through Raleigh, through Columbia, Atlanta, down to the Panhandle of Florida. It is just getting very, very, very cold. By Monday morning, we're waking up to, you can see these white colors here. Those are sub-zero temperatures. Sugar, Beach Mountain, -1, -2. Mount Pisgah, some of the higher elevations here, back through near Pigeon Forge. Those higher mountains, 4,000, 5,000 feet. -2 to 2 degrees above zero. So that realm. 8 in Asheville, Hendersonville, 21 in Greenville, 18 in Charlotte. And the highs on MLK Day. For D.C. inauguration, we're talking upper teens to around 20 degrees, one of the coldest inaugurations we've had in recent years. And then going into Monday evening, highs staying below freezing. And that's the case here, guys. We could have below freezing temperatures beginning Sunday evening all the way to Thursday. That's about 90 hours, give or take, of sub-freezing temperatures across the South. That's why, as we say, drip your faucets, protect your faucets, protect your pipes. That's a prolonged period of time below freezing. And not only that, it's below freezing during the day, but it's well below 20. I mean, we're talking 9, 10, 11 degrees at night. Those are hard freezes, not even getting above freezing during the day, and then freezing right back down to a hard freeze. So it's like being in the freezer, but that freezer gets a little warmer during the day. Then it gets really cold again and just hardens everything that may try to thaw. So please drip your faucets, protect your pipes. If you've had trouble in your home before with frozen pipes that have frozen and burst before, you're going to have problems this time, okay? Let's get into Tuesday. I'm going to show you that European Canadian model in just a second. The Canadian model you snow lovers are especially going to want to see. Highs on Tuesday, barely getting the upper 20s. And then going into Wednesday morning, could be another little surge of cold air trying to work on down. Sub-zero temperatures up here, 4, 5, 6 degrees in the mountains, 18 to 20. By Thursday, it appears we're trying to climb out of this at least a little bit. And then by Friday, we're back to the 40s across the South. But Disney World, Orlando, it's not looking pretty this week. I mean, each morning, waking up in Orlando to the upper 30s to around 40 degrees, and then having highs during the day at 49 to 51, one of the coldest 4 or 5 day stretches at Disney World and Universal, at the parks, we've had in a long time. In fact, by Wednesday morning, it looks like we could have a freeze close to Orlando. So they'll be covering some of the plants there. All right, let's get back to the Ensemble forecast. The GFS is processing as we speak, and it gets us very close to this storm, and it is indeed right there in line with its operational run, which is what you want to see. Now, remember, the Ensemble is what I've been telling you all along. It's kind of an average of many different runs. It accounts for a lot of different variables and scenarios that could play out a little bit differently, a little bit of warmer air, a little bit of a different jog. And right now it shows the bulk of this moisture being south of the upstate in the Midlands along the I-95 corridor, where there could be more snow, plot twist again, at the beach than inland. Let me see if this has updated. I hope it has. It looks like it gets us very well into this storm. Probability of an inch or more of snow is 10% or less at this point on the GFS model north of 85. South of 85, that number goes to 20% to 30% in here. And then it grows along the coast to a 50 to 60% chance. I mean, not every day you see that. Let's look at the new European model from last night. It's right there in lockstep with the GFS. I mean, almost identical. Tuesday evening, snow trying to stream in. Snow may be falling in the Western Carolinas, may get a quick coating to a half an inch to an inch. Could keep things interesting Tuesday evening, but overall, the impacts would be minor. And then this would go along the coast. And look at this, I-95 corridor, plenty of moisture because it's closer to the low. And South Georgia, northern parts of Florida, this could be a wintry mix in many areas. Snow could be flying in Destin, Panama City Beach. This is one of those rare occasions where, a few more things change. Tampa, parts of central Florida could see flakes. I mean, it's not out of the question in a scenario like this. Not many of the models show that, but certainly one of those rare occurrences where, like 1977, when Orlando got almost 3/4 of an inch of snow. It was a setup like this. All right, new GFS, new European totals, kind of in lockstep. The European paints a swath here across Panhandle of Florida, southern Alabama, New Orleans, with 2 to 4 inches of snow. That gets up into Savannah, Georgia, Charleston, Myrtle Beach, whereas areas in the Western Carolinas, a dusting to a half an inch of some snow if we get grazed by it. And again, those probabilities pretty much matching well with what the GFS said, about a 50 to 60% chance of an inch or more along the coast, more like a 10, 20, 30% chance back through the upstate. As we average them all together, you can kind of see that tries to come on through. Now, the Canadian model is shown here. It has been the most bullish with totals and far inland reach of this moisture. It shows snow moving in Tuesday afternoon, Tuesday evening. Keep in mind our air is very cold, very dry here, so a lot of that's going to have trouble reaching the ground, but it shows here southern parts of the upstate could get into some pretty good totals here, but it has trended south. Let me take you 2 runs ago. There's where it was. Here's last night's run, a little farther south, and here's today's run. So one more time, there's yesterday's run. Here's today's run. It trended about 50 miles south, and that's okay. I mean, that's looking like southern matching up with our other global models. Columbia, I-20 South would have a better chance of more significant snow. Now, this Canadian model is by far the most aggressive and has been. Wednesday morning, it's pretty much all gone, and then we're clear and cold the rest of the week. Now, the Canadian model wants to show totals on the order of just even gasp at seeing this. 5+ inches of snow along the I-95 corridor, probably not going to happen, but even if you cut those in half on the Canadian, it's something. It shows 1 to 2 inches in the southern part of the upstate with about an inch from the mountains to the northern part of the upstate. That's if that moisture can reach through that dry air. Our trends have not been favorable in GSP on the European. At least half of them show some form of snow falling across Greenville-Spartanburg International Airport in the upstate, but they're around a half an inch to an inch, relatively low. So the model's here not letting go of snow chances for the upstate, but certainly showing if it does snow, it would be a minor impact. Same story on the GFS model. It's generally an inch or less on the models here going throughout the week here. This is a great new product out that I just really enjoy looking at. Shows you the probability of moderate impacts. I've got moderate turned on here. Expect disruptions to your daily life, hazardous driving conditions. You want to use extra caution while driving. So what's the probability of that, of moderate driving conditions, moderate impacts to life? And here in the upstate, it's between 10 and 20%. 20% across the upstate. Southern part of the upstate through Columbia, that darker color there, is a 30% chance of an impactful winter storm. But look at this. One of those weird scenarios where Charleston, Georgetown, up through Myrtle Beach, Wilmington, the Outer Banks, 40, 50, 60% chance of a moderate winter storm. Now, major is limited here, 20% to 30%. Those would be expect considerable disruptions to life. Dangers are possible. Avoid travel at all possible. Widespread closures. That looks less likely. And then an extreme winter storm is looking even more less favorable, but back toward the west where there's more impacts there. So simply put, you can see where the highlighted areas of at least a minor winter storm, a few inconveniences to daily life. There's a high chance of that in Myrtle Beach up through Wilmington through the I-20 corridor, but then it goes down to 30% or less in the Western Carolinas. So pretty wild to see the models have a plot twist for us here. It's kind of just a pie to the face for those of you that want to see snow. Not only do we maybe not get snow in the upstate or Western North Carolina, but the beach is going to enjoy it. For those of you watching at the beach, those of you in the Western Carolinas that want to see snow are saying, no, what have you done? What have you done to us? But hey, that's kind of the way things shake up. Folks, things will change. Will be more plot twist here. One thing's for sure, and one thing I want you to prepare for more than anything is the cold air coming our way. If you enjoy this video, please consider giving it a thumbs up. Please, in the comment section before you hop off here, let me know where you're watching from. And if you're new to the channel and haven't subscribed yet, please continue subscribing and turn on those notifications, because as changes come our way, whatever channel you're watching on right now, hit the subscribe or follow button, and we will keep you posted along the way. Hope you have a good day, everybody.